Hello guys, welcome to my channel Education World. So in today's video we'll discuss about the chapter 1, the living world of class 11th NCERT book, which is from the unit 1, diversity in the living world. So in this chapter, the living world, we'll discuss some topics that are part of the chapter. For the first one is what is living, second is diversity in the living world, third is taxonomic categories, fourth is taxonomical aids. So before we start the chapter, let's first define biology. What is bio? Bio means living or life, and log it means study. So biology is the study of the life forms. So keep it in mind. So let's begin with the chapter. As by looking at the chapter name, the first word that we need to define is the living. So what are the characteristics that come in our mind when we look at the word living? The characters are like growth, reproduction, ability to sense environment, mount a suitable response. Means in response to any stimuli, the living organism mount a suitable response, gives a suitable response. And the other which we can include are metabolism, self-replicates. Self-replicate means the cell division, self-organize, interact, and emergence. So we'll discuss about them in detail. The very first is growth. So let's discuss these characteristics one by one. The first one is growth. What is growth? Growth is increase in the mass or increase in the number of individuals, and both of these are the twin characteristics of growth. So both multicellular as well as unicellular organisms grow by cell division. What is unicellular? Unicellular means single cell, and multicellular is many celled organism. Both of these grow by cell division. In plants, the cell division can be seen throughout their lifespan, whereas in animals, the cell division is restricted up to a certain age only. But in certain cells or in certain tissue, we can see that the cells divide to replace the lost cells or the injured cell, as in somatic cells. We can say, for example, the skin cells, when we get some wound or some injury on our skin, the cells surrounding that part divide to replace that lost or injured cells. So further, as we discussed, there come two terms, in vitro and in vivo. What is in vitro? In vitro is outside the body, and in vivo is the inside the body. So nowadays we can see a lot of growth, cell divisions, and can be seen in the in vitro. IVF and other techniques, test tube baby, these also are the in vitro techniques. So what is done in these techniques? They are artificially, the cells are divided in this. Cell division is done with a certain growth factors. So let's again recall that growth is the increase in the number of individuals and increase in the mass. So growth can be of two types, intrinsic and extrinsic. What is intrinsic? Internal growth, or from the inside of the body, and extrinsic means outer growth. So as we have seen, the growth is of two types, intrinsic and extrinsic. So if these intrinsic and extrinsic are the parameters of the growth, then we can also say that the non-living objects, non-living things also grow. How? Mountains, boulders, sand molds do grow. How they grow? By the accumulation of material on the surface. So this type of growth is extrinsic growth, and the living organism growth is from inside. So now we come to the conclusion. So we come to the conclusion that growth is not the defining property of living organism, because the non-living things are also growing, however by the extrinsic parameter, but we can't say the growth as the defining property of living organism. So the next characteristic is reproduction. What is reproduction? Reproduction is production of progeny that may be more or less similar to the parents. So this is of two types, asexual and sexual type. The asexual one, so in asexual reproduction we see the example of fungi. Fungi multiply and spread easily due to millions of asexual spores they produce, and in other organisms like yeast, hydra, they also reproduce by budding. They give a bud out and that become a new organism. And another example like planaria flatworm, they show regeneration. A fragmented part of their body, any part of their body, a fragmented piece can produce a fully new complete organism. For the unicellular organisms like amoeba, the usage of these two terms, growth and reproduction, is not very clear, as we have defined the growth as the increase in the cell number. So as the unicellular organism reproduce, they produce another single cell organism. So here the terms growth and reproduction are not very clear. As we move further under this topic reproduction, what we see that certain sterile organisms like mule. What is mule? Male donkey and female horse give rise to mule. Though that is not natural, it has been done by the human beings, by the artificial breeding. Mule, or we also can say the infertile couples, human couples that cannot give birth to the young ones. So by looking at these exceptions, we come to the conclusion that reproduction is again not the defining character of a living organism. So the two characters that we have studied, growth and reproduction, till now are not the defining character of a living organism. The next one is metabolism. What is metabolism? Is the sum of catabolic and anabolic reactions that are taking place inside a cell, inside our body. So as the example of catabolic reactions, we can see the production of amino acids from protein by the breakdown of protein. This is the catabolic reaction, that is the breakdown reaction, and in this reaction, in such kind of reaction, energy is released. Another type of reaction that we talked about is anabolic reaction, that is the production of protein from its subunits, that are amino acids, and such reactions consume energy. So hundreds of such reactions are happening or occurring simultaneously inside living organism, either it be multicellular or unicellular organisms. So we can say the sum total of all the chemical reactions occurring in a body is metabolism. No living organism, no living object exhibit metabolism. If we say no living organism exhibit metabolism, then what about the in vitro reactions that we talked about? So reactions that are occurring outside the human body or outside the cell in artificial medium, or we can say the cell-free system, we call them as a living reaction. Surely a living reaction, but not living things. So here we come to conclusion that metabolism is a defining feature of all living organisms without any exception. Next point or next character that we talk about is cellular organization. As we have seen, unicellular, multicellular, all organisms are comprised of cells. They are made up of cells, and a cell has always the thousands, hundreds of chemical reactions occurring within. So we can say that cellular organization of the body is the defining feature of the life forms. Next characteristic is consciousness. What is consciousness? That is the ability to sense environment. So how do we do that? We do that by our sense organs. We can sense the biological, physical and chemical stimuli surrounding us. And how do plant respond? Plant respond to external factors like light, water, temperature and other pollutants or other organisms. The organisms from prokaryotes to most complex eukaryotes can sense and respond to the environmental stimuli. In both animals and plants, photoperiod affect reproduction. What is photoperiod? Photo means light. So the photoperiod is the time for which the animal, the plant or animal, encounters the light. So as we can see, some plants grow in more light and some grow in less light. And in case of animals also, there is a particular season for the animal, for a particular animal to reproduce. So that is how the photoperiod affect reproduction. So we can say that all organisms are aware of their surroundings, and human beings are the only organisms that has self-consciousness, that are aware of themselves. So by discussing this consciousness topic, we therefore come to conclusion that consciousness becomes the defining property, defining character of the living organism. So by the end of this lecture, we can say that living organisms are those that are self-replicating, evolving, self-regulating interactive systems capable of responding to external stimuli. All living organisms, present, past, future, are linked to one another by sharing of the common genetic material, but to the varying degrees. So, if you like the today's lecture, please subscribe. Thank you.